Millionaires are not the ones that deserve to own a Ferrari. And you don't have to sell a kidney or take out a second mortgage to get behind the wheel of one of the prancing horses. No, sir. Some Ferraris are surprisingly affordable, and today we're going to break down the best ones that you can actually buy without creating generational debt. And stick around till the end because we got a couple cheeky honorable mentions. Yeah, we are kicking off this list with what might be the best bang for buck Ferrari ever, the 360 Modena. This is the first Ferrari that looks truly modern, even though those headlights are, well, they've warmed up to me a little bit. And the best part, you can pick them up for around $60,000 if you use the Ideal Car Strategies, which I've linked to our brand new workshop down below. And that is the same as a well-optioned Jaguar F-Pace. And trust me, you would way rather have this. Under the hood, you get a 3.6 liter Screamer V8 pumping out 400 horses, launching this thing to 60 in just 4.5 seconds. It's got that classic Ferrari howl thanks to that flat plane crank. The 360 also happens to be one of the most stunning Ferraris ever made, especially that rear end. You got that challenge grille, perfection. It's got those soft curves, but they sit on the car in a way that just makes it look aggressive enough. Plus, it was the first Ferrari with an all-aluminum chassis, making it lighter and stiffer than its predecessors. But as with all Ferraris, maintenance will be your foe. Timing belt changes are a must, and if you get one with the F1 transmission, be prepared for some hefty repair bills. A gated manual example is not only more reliable, but it's also appreciating in value, and you can actually swap the F1s to a manual, but you're pretty much trading a dollar for a dollar. Regardless of spec though, you're getting a modern Ferrari experience without blowing six figures. The 360 is definitely the move, and if you want to check out 360 or any other Ferrari on this list, I've linked to all of them via Auto Tempest in the first pinned comment. Go check them out, they're pretty cheap. Okay, so maybe you want a Ferrari with a V12. Well, that isn't going to obliterate your bank account. You're dreaming. Or are you not? Because the 456 GT, the Grand Tourer, is one of the last truly elegant Ferraris, really, designed for comfort and speed. And get this, you guys, you can find one for as low as $47,000. There's a guy here in town that actually has one, and I think he spent less than that. And that's for a Ferrari V12 for less than the price of a loaded Ram 1500 used. It packs a 5.5 liter V12, making 436 horses, propelling to 60 in about 5 seconds. Plus, it has actual back seats, so you can technically bring your friends along for the ride. Though they might have wished that they just got an Uber instead because, well, you have to be under 5'5" to fit back there. Now, let's talk about maintenance. Yes, it is a V12. Essentially 2 6-cylinders, which means repair bills are going to be like twice the cost. But Ferrari did make this engine pretty solid. Just keep an eye on electrical issues, and if you find one that's been well maintained, you're in for a fantastic Grand Touring experience. Ask me how I know. Okay, one of my good friends just bought one of these, the Ferrari 355, the best looking Ferrari of all time. I mean, it's everything that made the 348 good, and, well, it made it better. It has nearly 100 more horsepower, a revised suspension, and a sound that will make you weak at the knees. Seriously, this high-revving 3.5 liter V8 makes one of the best noises ever produced by an internal combustion engine. Do you agree or agree to disagree? And the best part, you can get them for around $60,000. And yes, these things require a lot more maintenance than the 360. Engine out every few years, and all those belts, they ain't cheap. But hey, if you're willing to put up with the upkeep, you'll be rewarded with one of the best driving Ferraris ever made. Plus, if you can find a manual, well, you're sitting on a seriously good investment. Which, before the 355, there was the 348, and it's one of the most controversial Ferraris ever made, believe it or not. Some people, they love it. Some, well, they hate it. But here's one thing we can all agree on. It looks awesome. With styling inspired by the legendary Testarossa, this mid-engine V8 Ferrari is a serious headbreaker. Turner. For around 50 grand, you get a 3.4 liter V8 making 300 horses, a gated manual shifter, and all the drama of an exotic Italian supercar. It got a bit of a reputation for being tricky to handle at the limit, but let's be honest, most people buying one of these aren't trying to set lap records. They just want to experience that Ferrari magic for a fraction of the price. And of course, stick it in your garage for the next decade, and it's probably going to appreciate in value. But yeah, some of the early models have some quirks, but a well-sorted 348 is still a proper Ferrari. And with the prices creeping up every single day, now might be the perfect time to buy one before they become collector items. This This is the Ferrari that put a prancing horse in everyone's dream garage. The 328 GTB and GTS are the final evolution of the 308, which improved reliability, slightly more power, and some of the most timeless designs in Ferrari history. For around 70 to 80K, you're getting a 3.2-liter V8 with 270 horses capable of 0 to 60 in 5.5, and yeah, it's not the fastest Ferrari in the world, but it's light, it's nimble, and delivers an incredible driving experience, which is awesome. Plus, it's one of the most reliable Ferraris from the era, making it a safe bet for first-time Ferrari owners. There were a lot of these made, which also means that you can kind of pick your spec the way that you want it. I would call it an ideal spec for you. Something that is usually reserved for folks buying them new. And if it were my choice, well, I really like this yellow on black example that sold for just $70,000. The Ferrari 400i is up next, and I bet you didn't even know about this car. And if you did, well, tell me to go myself in the comments, I guess, because this is a front-engine V12 Grand Tourer that offers luxury performance and that unmistakable Ferrari badge, all for around 60 grand. It's got a 4.8-liter V12 making around 306 horsepower, and while it's more of a cruiser than a track weapon, it's a fantastic car for long road trips with some spirited driving mixed in. The downside now, it's not as well known as other Ferraris, but that just means that you can get one for a bargain. Plus, it's one of the few Ferraris available with an automatic transmission, making it a great option for those who want a Ferrari without the stress of a manual gearbox. Are there any people out there that are like that? The 308 GT4 is a bit of an oddball, but that's what makes it really cool. Unlike most Ferraris of its time, this one was designed by Bertone instead of Pininfarina, giving it a sharp wedge-like design. Underneath, it shares its DNA with the legendary 308, meaning that you get a 3-liter V8 with about 240 horses, the same as an E36 M3, which is more than enough. And trust me when I say, these are the well-kept secret of the automotive world. Real enthusiasts, guys like you and me, well, mostly you, think this is one of the best Ferrari driving experiences in history. I mean, Jason Camisa, my boy, owns one. Enough said. You can find one for around 50 grand, making it one of the cheapest classic Ferraris out there. Sure, some Ferrari purists don't love the styling, but that just makes it a bargain for those who want a piece of Ferrari history without the crazy price tag. The Ferrari Mondial might just be the butt of a few jokes, but you gotta hear me out. It's one of the cheapest ways to own a Ferrari, and it's not as bad as people say. With prices starting around 40 grand, this 2+2 coupe offers a mid-engine layout, seating for 4, and that unmistakable prancing horse badge. Under the hood, you get a 3-liter to 3.4-liter V8, making up to 300 horses, depending on the year and the model, of course. Yeah, it's gonna be slower than other Ferraris, doing a 0 to 60 in a snooze fest of 7 to 9 seconds, but think of it as more time for people to admire you cruising by in a Ferrari. And many owners report that it's one of the more reliable models, especially if you find one with service records. Overall, the Mondial's reputation has held prices down for years, but the floor of the market for these has gone from the mid-20s to the low 40s in just 2 years. People are starting to hear the Mondial gospel, I guess, so if you want an affordable, practical Ferrari that's still a blast to drive, the Mondial deserves a second look. Okay, and now it's time for some honorable mentions. And this one isn't technically a Ferrari, but it's got Ferrari DNA, and it's an absolute steal of a deal. The Maserati Quattroporte. It comes with a Ferrari-built V8 under the hood. That means you're getting 400 horses in an Italian sedan that can hit 0 to 60 in 5 seconds for under 15K? Like 12K, I just found one on Auto Tempest. Why so cheap? Well, Maseratis aren't exactly known for their reliability, and repairs can cost an arm and a leg, and then a kidney and a lung too. But if you're handy with a wrench or don't mind project, you can get one of the best deals on a Ferrari-powered car in the world. Plus, the Quattroporte is ridiculously luxurious, with plush interiors, sharp styling, and a soundtrack courtesy of that Ferrari V8. It's also the only scientifically proven car to be a certified aphrodisiac. Seriously, go look it up. Now sure, it's not a Ferrari badge once you pop the hood, but for the price of a used Prius, you can now own a piece of Italian automotive history. That's hard to beat. So there you have it, Ferraris that us non-millionaires can afford. Yes, they might not be the latest and greatest, and yeah, maintenance can be a bit scary, but come on, it's a Ferrari. And if you want to join the elite club, well, get a 360 for 60 grand. They are pretty reliable as long as you do the timing belt. I'm actually eyeing them right now. So which one would you get? Let us know in the comments below, and what would be your ideal spec. Also, if you enjoyed this vid, like, subscribe, check out these ideal vids over here. I'm Brad. This is Ideal. We'll see you next week, and promise me one thing. Keep living the ideal lifestyle.